Speaking of going backwards to go forwards, New York City public schools. There was one school in New York City. I believe it was a parent that first circulated, and then the school said every parent at the school should be looking at this. And it's on page 10 here of the New York Post. It's the scale of the 8 identities of whiteness. And again, this was meant to trigger conversation amongst parents and students in this New York City school. Look at this. The scale goes from white supremacist on the red side to white voyeurism to white privilege to white benefit, white confessional, white critical, white traitor, and white abolitionist. Unbelievable.
So this was sent out to all the teachers. A parent gave it to somebody, you're right, gave it to somebody on the staff, and then they circulated it. And the next thing you know, the principal at East Side Community, a fellow by the name of Mark Feldman, sent it to all of the parents and said, you know, this is meant as food for thought. And so there's obviously been some backlash, and some people are not liking that. This is from the New York Post. The document in question was shared with the school by parents of a part of an ongoing anti-racist work in the community and is one of many resources the school utilizes. Our staff are now being targeted with vile, racist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic slurs and degrading language from people outside of their school, and nothing justifies the abuse directed at our educators. And
how about the abuse directed at white kids?
Food for thought.
In this particular case, who are told to be guilty for the color of their skin. Haven't we been trying to move past that idea, Ainsley?
Yeah, you know, it's a tough topic in our country right now, and Black Lives Matter, we all, you know, I don't know, I'm not speaking for you guys, but I hear their complaints, and it makes me sad, and I've paid more attention to that, teaching my daughter not to see color, to see that everyone is God's child. We don't even, she's 5 years old, so we haven't had those major conversations yet. But if someone feels a certain way, then I think we need to talk about it as a country. It's the only way we're going to unify. But to put it in our schools and to force those conversations, a lot of parents are saying in New York that it's too much, that they want to be able to talk to their kids about those things and not have the school manipulate or to force them to think a certain way. And they want them, some of what I'm hearing conversations in New York is focus on mathematics, focus on history, focus on what why we're paying these tax dollars to send our kids to school. So it's, you know, these conversations are being had in households, but critics are going to say, don't have these conversations at school, leave that up to the parents.
Sure.
But this is what Dr. Carol, do you want to say something, Steve?
Well, I was just going to say, just imagine you were one of the parents who got that from the school, asking you where are you on that particular scale? How would you feel about that, Ainsley?
Yeah, so Dr. Carol Swain, she's a former Vanderbilt University, I guess, professor. She says that this is harming our children. Listen to this.
The greatest threat to American society today, I would argue, is coming from the diversity, equity, inclusion industry. It is steeped in critical race theory. When they talk about anti-racism, they're really talking about teaching white people to hate themselves, especially the young ones. Children are being bullied. They're being shamed. Teachers are being encouraged to teach nonsense. And they may justify it by saying it is fighting racism, it's helping racial and ethnic minorities. It's really harming everyone's child.
Carol Swain is so insightful, so smart. I want to know, when you put that chart up, where's the condemn line? How far do you, I mean, that's effectively what it is. When and where and how do we condemn certain people for the color of their skin? Because, Ainsley, you talked about what you want to teach our kids, what I want to teach my kids, is that you don't see someone by the color of their skin. That's the whole idea, that we are one blood.
Right.
Something like this takes us backwards and says, no, your identity is the color of your skin, white or black. That's oftentimes what Black Lives Matter said. We're going to identify you by the color of your skin one way or the other. It all feels like we're going backwards when what Martin Luther King said, we should be judging people on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. We laugh at this stuff because it's so absurd, but it's serious because kids are learning it from parents and principals.
It's real.
Ainsley.
It is real. Yeah. So targeting one group is not the answer to tackle racism, you're saying. All right.
All right.
Steve?
7:20 here in New York City, still ahead.